Good afternoon and welcome to Channel 44. It's the time for our business news here on Channel 44. We bring you both local and international business news. I am joined by Livingstone Kawesi for sign language interpretation and translation, and I am Masika Shibisematia to bring it to you today. In our local news today, in a bid to boost which include the one-stop center, which was put in place 3 years ago by Uganda Investment Authority, which has helped investors have better services. According to the State Minister for Trade, Harriet Ntabazi, the service delivery has been improved through opening up various border services at all borders, including Busia, Mirama Hills, Elegu, Mpondwe, where all government agencies that facilitate trade have extended their services, mentioning Uganda Revenue Authority, immigration offices, among others. She also noted the government is determined to promote gender equality, whereby both men and women are empowered through capacity building and financially.
The government has set up a one-stop center under Uganda Investment Authority for investors to improve and ensure quick and timely services to our local and international investors. So we are not only going there to market, we are also going to source for investors to come and put money into our products, to support and build sign multilaterals and bilaterals. We have built a one-stop centers to facilitate trade at borders. And of course at Busia, you can see, we have built at Busia, we have Malaba, we have Mirama Hills, which some of you I'm encouraging for you to visit, Elegu, and Mpondwe of recent that we have the president has launched. So all this is to facilitate trade and put all the facilities together, including URA, UNBS, immigration, to make sure that when you are getting out of the country or taking facilities out of the products out of the country, you don't suffer. You find everything in one stop, and the key is with you. Creating an enabling environment for SMEs to access affordable and cheap financing through Uganda Development Bank, Microfinance Support Center, and other financial institutions, non-financing and other non-financing institutions. We are also building capacity for entrepreneurship, businesses and industries. We are developing skills, as I told you earlier, through our technical staff at the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. And we are also enhancing gender equity and equality, because we are not only looking at women, the men were also there. We are engaging them, especially the young people, the young women, the young blood, to make sure that they utilize this time before they start looking for where to retire from, and they cannot see any.
Well, that's what's happening in Uganda. We'll now take a short break, look at today's fuel prices at different fuel pumps. We'll return with international business news. Stay with us. In our international news, top gold producer Newmont Corp has said it has made a $16.9 billion offer for Australian Pioneer Crest Mining to build a global gold behemoth, although investors and analysts said it undervalued the target and a leadership change. Newcrest is seeking a new boss, with previous chief executive Sandeep Biswas having stepped down in December, while global interest rates are expected to peak this year and turn down, polishing the outlook of for gold prices. The Australian gold miner said that it was considering the all-share proposal in a filing that was a response to media speculation over the weekend. The initial feedback from shareholders is that they want a higher price, according to a person familiar with Newcrest's deliberations. A good litmus test for a reasonably priced deal is one where both seller and buyer feel somewhat aggrieved by selling out too low or by paying too much, according to Simon Mahwini, the Chief Investment Officer at Allan Gray, and Newcrest's largest shareholder, with a 7.36% stake. Newcrest shares surged as much as 14.4% to $25.6, the highest since May 2022, but remained below the implied current offer price of $27.16, suggesting investors were not convinced the deal would pan out. Shares closed at 9.3% higher at $24.53. Tesla's Elon Musk has been cleared of wrongdoing for a tweet in which he said he had funding secured to take the electric car maker back into private ownership. Shareholders argued he misled them with his posts in August 2018, and they had lost billions of dollars because of them. The proposed $72 billion buyout never materialized. If found liable, Musk could have been ordered to pay out billions in damages. It took 9 jurors less than 2 hours to reach their verdict on the class action lawsuit on Friday afternoon. Mr. Musk, who had wanted the trial moved to Texas, where Tesla is based, arguing he could not get a fair trial in San Francisco, welcomed the outcome. Talking to Twitter, the social media platform he bought for $44 billion last October, he posted, "Thank goodness the wisdom of the people has prevailed." Nissan and Renault have unveiled the details of a major shakeup of their often strained 24-year-old alliance. The announcement comes after months of negotiations between the motor industry giants. In a joint statement, the two firms said they had rebalanced their relationship by agreeing that Renault would cut its stake in Nissan. Under the deal, Nissan will take a stake in Renault's flagship electric car unit Ampere. The companies also said that they will work together on electronics and battery technology, as well as making savings from joint projects in Europe, India, and Latin America. An Australian firm has been named as the preferred bidder for Britishvolt, the UK battery startup which collapsed last month. Recharge Industries, which is owned by New York fund Scale Facilitation Partners, has entered an agreement to buy Britishvolt's business and assets. Britishvolt was put into administration after running out of money. It had planned to build a giant factory to make electric car batteries near Blyth and Northumberland. EY, the accountancy firm and administrator to Britishvolt, which has been overseeing the sale, said completion of the acquisition is expected to occur within the next 7 days. And in Hong Kong, Apple supplier Foxconn says its January month sales hit a record high as it bounced back from COVID-19 disruptions in China. In a sales update on Sunday, the Taiwanese manufacturing giant reported revenue of 660.4 billion Taiwan dollars, which is $22 billion in January, 48% more than the same period a year ago, and its highest ever level for that month. Revenue was nearly up 5% compared to the previous month. The manufacturer attributed its performance to a strong rebound and its sprawling campus in Zhengzhou, central China. The site, which is home to the world's biggest iPhone factory, was crippled late last year by COVID-19 restrictions and workers' protests. Now operations there are returning to normal and product shipments have jumped on, according to Foxconn. The company also said a better component supply helped boost sales. Dell is to lay off about 6,650 workers because of the decline in demand for personal computers. The job cuts are expected to affect about 5% of its global workforce. The company faced tough market conditions with an uncertain future, and its previous cost-cutting measures were no longer enough, according to Koch Chief Operating Officer Jeff Clark, who wrote in a memo. Dell, based in Round Rock, Texas, announced similar layoffs in 2020 after the pandemic hit. The latest department reorganizations and job cuts were an opportunity to drive efficiency, according to company representatives. That brings us to the next break into today's Forex rates. Stay with us. We'll return with more international news. Stay tuned to Channel 44. In New Delhi, India, Indian billionaire Gautam Adani is repaying some debt early as he scrambles to end a rout in shares of his embattled conglomerate that entered the third week today. In a statement today, the Adani Group said its promoters, all controlling shareholders, will be paying back loans worth $1.11 billion ahead of their scheduled maturity in September 2024. The loans were backed by shares in Adani Ports, Adani Green Energy, and Adani Transmission, which have collapsed in value. The step taken was in light of recent market volatility and in continuation of promoters' assurance to prepay all share-backed financing, according to the statement. A brutal stock market meltdown has wiped over $110 billion off the combined market value of firms belonging to the Ports to Power Indian conglomerate in recent weeks. Adani, the founder of the group, has lost over $60 billion in net worth since the rout began, when an American short seller accused him of pulling off the largest con in corporate history in a January 24th report. While the Adani Group has vehemently denied the allegation made by Hindenburg Research as baseless and malicious, investors remain unconvinced. In its first statement on the market turmoil, India's market regulator, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, said on Saturday that it had observed unusual price movement in the stocks of a business conglomerate. And in Australia, the world is producing a record amount of single-use plastic waste, mostly made from polymers created from fossil fuels, despite global efforts to reduce plastic pollution and carbon emissions, according to a new report released today. The second Plastic Waste Makers Index, compiled by the philanthropic Minderu Foundation, found the world generated 139 million metric tons of single-use plastic waste in 2021, which was 6 million metric tons more than in 2019, when the first index was released. The report found the additional plastic waste created in those 2 years equates to nearly 1 kilogram more for every person on the planet, and was driven by demand for flexible packaging like films and circuits. In recent years, governments around the world have announced policies to reduce the volume of single-use plastic, banning products like single-use straws, disposable cutlery, food containers, cotton swabs, bags, and balloons. In July, California became the first U.S. state to announce its own targets, including a drop of 25% in the sale plastic packaging by 2023. In December, the UK extended its list of banned items to include single-use trays, balloon sticks, and some types of polystyrene cups and food containers. Bans are also in place in the European Union, Australia, and India, among other places. Well, that brings us to the end of this afternoon's business news segment. Thank you for watching Channel 44. I remind you that we are still helping the people of Karamoja. What has been done has been big and large. Thank you, partners. We urge you to continue supporting us as we send help to the people of Karamoja. Send your seed to the numbers that will be availed on your screen during the services. Alternatively, you can bring your seed during the revival nights that are happening every evening here at the Miracle Center Cathedral, or you can bring it at the church reception. You'll be given a receipt for accountability purposes, and you'll be tremendously blessed. Otherwise, God bless you. Enjoy your evening. This evening, we continue with sessions of the Holy Spirit, whereby there is dream interpretation, deliverance sessions, healing of the sick, and many other encounters with the Holy Spirit. You do not want to miss this evening with Pastor Robert Kayanja. God bless you, and enjoy your viewing on Channel 44.